It may surprise you to learn that even after 60, you may reactivate your body's inherent power with a simple kitchen spice that you've seen 1,000 times without giving it any consideration. I'm not talking about another supplement or some online gimmick. I'm referring to cloves, a spice that, when taken properly, can increase libido by as much as 300% and help your body's blood flow back to normal. The majority of men ignore it, although this small bud contains one of nature's most potent sources of substances that improve circulation that science has discovered. I'm Dr. Mohit Khera, a board-certified urologist and expert in men's health, with more than 30 years of expertise assisting men in regaining their self-esteem, energy, and functionality through natural means. I've worked with thousands of guys who assumed their best days were behind them, only to discover that their bodies were still capable of great rejuvenation if they learned how to sustain themselves the correct way. This is the startling reality. Nearly all of the millions of men who chew cloves, drink clove tea, or use them in their food do it incorrectly. Used wrongly, cloves lose nearly all their therapeutic power. When used properly, they perfectly balance hormones, nerves, and blood vessels. And that's exactly what I'm about to show you. This video will teach you how to use cloves precisely to increase your natural male desire, vitality, and circulation without the need of pharmaceuticals or negative side effects. So remain with me, because in just a moment, I'll reveal the exact nightly approach that turns this basic spice into your body's most potent ally for strength, stamina, and confidence, even after 60. If you haven't subscribed yet, please click the button and activate the notification bell before we start, to ensure you don't miss any of my natural health tips tailored to guys over 60. If this video is beneficial to you, please let me know by leaving a comment. If not, type 0 and tell me what I can do to make these videos even more useful for you. Now let's get into the heart of it. To properly grasp how cloves can restore your vigor and blood flow, we first need to look at what's really happening within a man's body after 60. Why vitality diminishes, circulation decreases, and how this tiny spice can help turn it all around. Section 1. What takes place inside a man's body after 60? When a man reaches the age of 60, a subtle but significant change starts to occur within his body. It's not your fault, and it's not abrupt. It's the subtle, quiet alteration that happens when circulation slows and hormones begin to drift out of balance. You may discover that you have more vitality when you wake up rather than more weight. It feels more difficult to locate the same morning spark that used to come naturally. You might recover slowly after activity, or feel your hands and feet get colder than previously. These are not random annoyances. They are signals. Your body is whispering that your blood flow isn't what it used to be, that your vessels have lost some of their elasticity, that your nerves aren't firing with the same strength they once had. Section 2. What takes place in a man's body after 60? Your arteries were like clean, shiny pipes when you were younger. Blood rushed through them freely, filling every organ with oxygen and vigor. However, oxidative damage and inflammation subtly accumulate over time. They gradually reduce the amount of life-giving blood available by stiffening those vessels and constricting the passageways. This affects more than just your heart, your energy, your brain, and yes, even your capacity to function as a man, are all impacted. Because one thing determines erections, strength, and endurance: healthy circulation. Even the highest amounts of testosterone cannot function without it. I have repeatedly witnessed it in my patients. A frustrated man who believes he is too old and that his feelings are normal for aging walks into my clinic. However, the results are consistently the same when we examine his hormones and blood flow. Chronic low-grade inflammation and poor circulation sap his vitality inconspicuously. The most crucial fact is this: you don't lose your manhood with age. When your body no longer gets the oxygen and nutrients it requires to function, you lose it. The good news is that process can be reversed. You know, with the correct assistance, your body can mend itself in amazing ways. Your hormones can naturally adjust, your blood vessels can regain their elasticity, and your nerves can regain their vigor. All you have to do is set up the proper conditions for that healing to start. Nature intervenes in that situation. In particular, one of your kitchen's most underappreciated spices. It turns out that there is a natural way to combat this gradual decline, and it doesn't involve hormones or pills. Instead, it involves something so basic that most men ignore it on a daily basis without realizing its potential. And in the next part, I'll show you exactly how this humble spice, when used correctly, can reignite blood flow, energy, and drive in ways that truly surprise you. Section 2. How cloves improve blood flow and circulation. I was dubious when I first began researching how natural remedies affected men's health. I had seen too many miracle claims that broke apart under real science. However, the more I learned about cloves, the more I understood how remarkable this little spice truly is. It isn't a myth. It's chemistry. Inside each clove is a compound called Eugenol, and this one molecule has the power to help your blood vessels relax, open, and move life through your body again. You see, the lifeblood of your body is your blood. Every muscle, organ, and nerve receives oxygen from it. But after 60, that river often slows. The walls of your arteries stiffen, small inflammations build up, and your body starts struggling to deliver enough oxygen where it matters most. That's when guys start reporting cooler hands and feet, slower recuperation, and decreased performance. This isn't simply about aging, I tell my patients when I explain this to them. It has to do with circulation. And that's where cloves step in. Eugenol has a vasodilator-like effect. In other words, it slowly relaxes the blood vessel walls, restoring free blood flow. It functions similarly to what contemporary drugs attempt to do, but entirely naturally and without any negative side effects. Eugenol slowly expands tiny vessels, improves oxygen delivery, and gives your cells the energy they've been craving every time you drink properly prepared clove water. Cloves, however, are capable of much more. They combat the inflammation that initially caused those arteries to harden. Free radicals, which are unstable chemicals that harm cells and age arteries from the inside out, are neutralized by the antioxidants in cloves. When those radicals are kept in check, your circulation becomes smoother, your blood pressure stabilizes, and your tissues can finally breathe again. After using it consistently for a few weeks, I've had men return to my clinic and tell me that their feet feel warmer, that they have more energy during the day, and even that their mood has improved. "Doctor, I don't feel younger," they frequently complain. Once more, I feel alive. And that is the real power of reviving circulation, in my opinion. It's not simply about performance. It's about bringing life back to every part of your body. Therefore, keep this in mind if you've been wondering why your body doesn't react the way it used to, why recovery takes longer, or why your energy levels drop. Your strength isn't being taken away by age. Poor circulation is the cause. Cloves include a natural chemical that can help turn that story around, cup by cup and drop by drop. However, that is only one aspect of the situation. Because as your blood flow returns, another system begins to awaken. The one that gives you energy, concentration, and self-assurance. And we're going to find out just that. Section 3. The testosterone connection. I'll never forget one of my patients, a 64-year-old man named David, who sat across from me one afternoon and said, "Doc, I think my fire's gone out." He wasn't discussing desire or attraction. He meant the energy that pushes a man to feel active, concentrated, and confident. I've seen this narrative hundreds of times, and his blood tests confirmed it. His body was having trouble producing more testosterone, and his levels had fallen below the recommended range. But what most men don't realize is that testosterone isn't just a hormone. It shows how well your system is functioning as a whole. And this is where cloves play an unexpected, significant role. There is a mineral inside those tiny brown buds that is frequently disregarded: manganese. Although it isn't as well known as magnesium or zinc, it is necessary for the enzymes that make testosterone. Consider manga to be the hormonal engine's spark plug. Nothing ignites without it, even though it doesn't produce the fuel itself. When your body has enough manganese, your natural hormone production wakes up again. Combine that with the enhanced blood flow from Eugenol, and suddenly your cells are not just receiving oxygen, they're receiving the signal to operate again. My patients frequently ask me whether cloves are similar to taking testosterone pills when I first explain this to them. I tell them that hormones are not replaced with cloves. They help your body produce its own again. That is an important distinction. While synthetic testosterone may provide a short-term boost, it can also cause dependence and inhibit your body's natural synthesis of testosterone. Contrarily, clove water subtly, gently, and sustainably maintains the body's natural rhythm. And it's not simply bodily changes. When testosterone levels begin to adjust, something spectacular happens inside a man's head. His motivation returns. His self-assurance grows. He becomes more focused. I've witnessed men who had completely lost their edge suddenly start to walk taller, talk more animatedly, and pursue goals they had put off for years. It's not magic. It's biology seeking balance again. Working with your body rather than against it has that advantage. When your hormones regulate and your circulation improves, you start to experience what I call deep vitality. Energy that doesn't wane by midday, strength that doesn't rely on caffeine, and desire that feels natural, not forced. However, circulation and testosterone are only one aspect of the issue. You also require the silent system that connects everything in order for your body to react completely, to experience pleasure, control, and connection. Your nerves. Because without healthy, sensitive nerves, even ideal blood flow and hormones can't provide the feelings or performance you want. And that's exactly what we'll study next. Section 4. Nerve Health and Sensitivity. When I talk to older men about energy and performance, I typically tell them that blood flow is only half the story. The other half lives in an area that most people don't consider: their nerves. Your brain sends impulses to every area of your body through these unseen channels, including touch, arousal, and pleasure. You don't simply become less sensitive when those signals wane. You lose connection with your body, as well as, frequently, with your partner. I've witnessed men accuse themselves of being less receptive, but it has nothing to do with willpower. It has to do with nerve health, and it is possible to improve it. Inflammation, oxidative stress, poor circulation, and other factors that impede blood flow also start to harm the sensitive nerves that regulate feeling as we age. These nerves rely on the delivery of nutrients and oxygen via small blood arteries. The nerves don't receive the nutrition they require when those veins gradually constrict or harden. They slow down, and your body and brain begin to communicate less clearly. At that point, the spark that seemed effortless starts to fade. Touch feels duller, and response times slow down. This is where most people are surprised by cloves. This common spice's eugenol does more than only widen blood arteries. Additionally, it supports the microcirculation that supplies your nerves with nutrition. Cloves help these fragile fibers heal themselves by lowering inflammation and enhancing oxygen flow. This eventually results in stronger, more consistent feelings, quicker reactions, and improved brain-body connection. Patients have told me that they started to see minor improvements after drinking clove water for a few weeks. They experienced tingling sensations they hadn't experienced in years, warmth returning to previously chilly locations, and even a resurgence of trust in their body's capacity to react. Despite their small size, these placards have a huge impact. "My nerves are resurfacing," they say. It's similar to repairing an antique radio. The music sounds richer, louder, and clearer after the wiring is fixed. And it's not just about performance here. When your nerves function properly, your body feels alive in a deeper sense. You feel more connected to yourself, to your movements, to the environment around you. You regain confidence in your body, and that confidence radiates into every part of your life. Here's the interesting part, though. Although blood flow and nerves are necessary for responsiveness, they are only a small portion of what makes a guy genuinely vibrant. Another layer is present. This system influences how you age from the inside out, connects all of your organs, and balances your energy. In the following section, we'll see how cloves subtly help that system as well, restoring balance to your entire body. Section 5. Past libido. Benefits of clove water for the entire body. The majority of guys seek my help because they wish to regain a particular sense of strength. What always astounds them, though, is that as soon as they begin to improve their hormone balance and circulation, the rest of their body starts to mend as well. Cloves don't simply target one function, you see. They provide the system with nourishment. They affect every area of the body that has been gradually losing vitality over the years while operating in silence. I anticipated seeing increased confidence or stamina when I first started suggesting clove water to my patients. The series of subsequent developments caught me off guard. Improved sleep, more consistent energy, lighter mood, and clearer skin. The explanation is straightforward. An improvement in blood flow benefits every cell in your body. For example, cloves are rich in antioxidants and vitamin C, which strengthen your immune system. This implies less weariness, quicker recuperation, and fewer infections. This is the reason why many of my elderly patients tell me that after they develop this nightly routine, they no longer get colds as frequently. Cloves also support digestion by stimulating enzymes that help your body break down protein and healthy fats. Your digestive tract slows down naturally after the age of 60, which makes it more difficult to absorb nutrients. When that happens, you can eat properly and still feel fatigued. Cloves give your muscles and mind genuine vitality by assisting your body in reabsorbing what it requires from diet. Then there's your liver, one of the most undervalued organs in a man's health. Your liver filters pollutants, balances hormones, and keeps your blood chemistry constant. According to studies, chemicals in cloves help the liver cope with oxidative stress, allowing it to function more effectively. When your liver operates properly, testosterone metabolism improves, your energy stabilizes, and your body feels cleaner within. Cloves even assist the prostate, lowering inflammation and alleviating pressure that causes frequent urination or pain. And if that weren't enough, they help regulate blood sugar, a critical factor for men over 60. When blood sugar climbs and dips during the day, it drains energy, damages arteries, and interferes with hormone balance. Compounds included in cloves aid in stabilization, ensuring your body functions properly day and night. Something significant occurs when the liver, hormones, circulation, digestion, and nerves all function together. In addition to feeling stronger, you also feel younger, more in control, and more content with your physical appearance. When I talk about deep vitality, I mean that. There isn't an immediate rush. It's a slow awakening of health that builds from the inside out. The issue that most men overlook, though, is this. When used improperly, even the most potent natural cure might backfire. For this reason, I'll outline the 5 most typical errors men make when making or consuming clove water in the next section. Errors that, without your knowledge, have the potential to negate practically all of its advantages. Section 6. The 5 typical errors that ruin the benefits of clove. Over the years, I've witnessed a lot of men become enthusiastic about using cloves after learning about their potency. However, I question first, how are you preparing it? When they tell me weeks later that they don't feel any different. Almost every time, that's where the problem begins. The truth is that improper use can negate the effectiveness of even the best natural remedy. Clove water is simple to make, but it demands patience and precision. Treat it carelessly, and you're just sipping flavored water. Use it properly, and you're unlocking one of nature's strongest tools for blood flow, energy, and longevity. Boiling the cloves for too little time is the first error that most men commit. It won't take 2 minutes. It takes time for eugenol, the substance we're looking for, to completely dissolve in the water. You lose out on the very ingredient that gives clove its therapeutic properties if you hurry. I advise my patients to simmer it gently for at least 10 minutes without lifting the top. Which leads me to the second error, failing to cover the pot. Since eugenol is volatile, it may escape along with the steam. The benefit rises along with that aromatic vapor. Allow the steam to return to the liquid by keeping it covered. The true strength is found there. Timing is the third error. Before turning in for the night, some guys drink clove water. But cloves can slightly stimulate your metabolism and your nervous system, especially if you're sensitive. It may be more difficult to fall asleep as a result. The ideal window is 1 to 2 hours before bed, close enough to help your body's nighttime repair cycle, but not so close that it affects your rest. The fourth error is to believe that more is better. I've encountered men who use highly potent clove oil or chew raw cloves by the handful in the hopes of hastening the process. Rather, they cause stress on the liver or irritate the stomach. Clove is strong. Honor it. 5 whole cloves, each cup is enough. Give your body time to adjust to it. And lastly, neglecting interactions is the 6th error. You should consult your doctor first if you are on any medications, such as blood thinners or diabetes treatments. Clove naturally lowers blood sugar and thins the blood. That's advantageous to a lot of men, but it can go too far when taken alongside medication. Something changes when these errors are fixed. You feel the warmth, vigor, and circulation returning as your body starts to absorb the chemicals it has been lacking. However, understanding how to avoid contaminating clove water is only half the story. The most important thing is to understand how to properly prepare it, step by step, so that each drop has all of its inherent potency. And that's just what I'll show you next. Section 7. The proper method for making clove water. To fully harness the power of this age-old spice, you must handle it like you would a potent medication. Because that's precisely what it is in reality. Nature's silent remedy for vitality, rejuvenation, and circulation. Hundreds of men in their 60s, 70s, and even 80s have learned this easy ritual from me. And what always amazes me is how something so small can bring such noticeable change when done correctly and consistently. So here's the way I personally propose to any patient who sits across from me and says, "Doctor, I just want to feel like myself again." Start with 200 milliliters or 1 cup of clean water. Add precisely 5 whole cloves, nor crushed nor ground, just entire. Bring the pot to a gentle boil over medium heat. This is the important portion now. Put a lid on it and simmer it for 10 minutes straight. You'll notice a warm, spicy aroma rising. That's the eugenol releasing into the water. Keep that lid on tight since those vapors convey the active substances you require. Once the time is up, turn off the heat, but don't rush. Leave the pot covered for approximately 2 hours. The water becomes pale amber in color as a result of the oils and antioxidants' deep infusion during this resting period. You'll know it's ready then. When it's cooled to room temperature or still slightly warm, strain it into a cup. Sip it carefully, don't gulp it down. This is a ritual, not a race. Allow your body to sense it. To help with digestion and to soften the taste, some men prefer to add a tiny bit of cinnamon or a thin slice of lemon peel, but they never add sugar. Clove water works best in its pure form. When your body is naturally going into repair mode, which is 1 to 2 hours before bed, drink it. At that point, your blood vessels relax, your hormones return to equilibrium, and your liver detoxifies. It's the perfect moment for clove water to boost that healing process. Start with 3 cloves rather than 5 and work your way up if you have a sensitive stomach. The men who follow this routine consistently for 3 or 4 weeks nearly always come back to me with a smile. They remark about having an inner vitality that grows rather than diminishes, waking up warmer and getting a deeper sleep. And the secret is that. Not intensity, but consistency. Your body starts to rebuild itself piece by piece when you make this small but meaningful habit a nightly ritual. The part that really intrigues me, though, is this. This goes beyond custom or belief. Modern research now confirms exactly why clove water works so successfully. I'll take you inside the study in the next section, demonstrating how its special ingredients balance hormones, protect blood vessels, and boost cellular energy. Section 8. The science underpinning why it works. Let's take a closer look at what actually occurs within your body when you consume clove water. Because this isn't a myth from the internet or folklore. Every benefit you feel, the enhanced blood flow, the revived vitality, the warmth returning to your body, can be linked back to science. Ancient medical knowledge has finally been surpassed by modern research. One of the strongest natural therapeutic agents on the planet is cloves. Eugenol is the chemical at the heart of this power. It is the source of clove's unique scent and extraordinary strength. Studies confirmed by organizations such as the Cleveland Clinic and published in the National Library of Medicine indicate that eugenol functions as a circulatory enhancer, antibacterial, and anti-inflammatory all at once. That combination is uncommon. Few natural chemicals can protect your blood vessels, soothe inflammation, and fight off hazardous microorganisms at the same time. Eugenol starts to remove oxidative stress from your arteries when you frequently consume clove water. Imagine it as restoring the smooth flow of blood by polishing an old conduit. Your organs, particularly your heart, liver, and reproductive system, start to perform as they did years ago as circulation improves. Eugenol, however, doesn't operate by itself. Polyphenols, which are antioxidants that counteract free radicals, those unstable chemicals that cause cell damage and premature aging, are abundant in cloves. It has been demonstrated that just 1 teaspoon of ground cloves has more antioxidant capacity than blueberries, green tea, and even certain vitamin supplements put together. This antioxidant activity is what helps protect your nerves and blood vessels, keeping them flexible and responsive as you age. Additionally, manganese, a mineral that is frequently disregarded, is directly involved in the synthesis of testosterone and the metabolism of energy. The Mayo Clinic reports that men who are weak in manganese can experience reduced libido and longer recovery. Without the dangers of synthetic boosters or injections, clove water helps your body reset its hormonal cycle by naturally replenishing this vital vitamin. Furthermore, it doesn't end there. Clove extracts may help control blood sugar and hormonal balance by enhancing insulin sensitivity and lowering oxidative stress in the liver, according to studies. Your body is better able to use nutrients and sustain consistent energy levels throughout the day when your liver and pancreas are functioning properly. The system is exquisitely interconnected. One small nightly ritual benefits circulation, hormones, the liver, and nerves. For this reason, I usually remind my patients that their bodies will take care of everything else if they take care of their blood and cells. However, the science alone isn't the true secret. It lies in how you smoothly and reliably incorporate this practice into your life, making it your silent ally each and every evening. In the following section, I'll demonstrate how to incorporate clove water into your daily routine to maintain your body's strength, vitality, and youth for many years to come. Section 9. How to establish clove water as a nightly ritual. I discovered something intriguing when I initially started suggesting clove water to my patients. Those who created the strongest drink or added more ingredients did not see the most potent results. It was they who established the custom. They viewed it as a commitment to themselves rather than a chore to complete. Because intensity does not lead to healing. Consistency is the key. Sometimes your body doesn't react to what you do. It reacts to your daily actions. Here's what I advise my patients to do. Think of clove water as your silent signal to your body that it's time for repair, your nightly reset button. Follow my instructions to make your cup of clove water after supper. 5 cloves, covered tightly, simmered for 10 minutes, and then allowed to rest. Go for a little walk while it cools. Gentle movement for just 10 to 15 minutes promotes blood circulation and enhances the work that the cloves will do later. Your drink should be warm or room temperature when you get back, so you can enjoy it slowly rather than hurriedly. Locate a peaceful area free from distractions and screens. Take a seat, inhale deeply, and mindfully sip your clove water. Imagine that same warmth coursing through your veins, cleansing, repairing, and revitalizing as it warms your throat and stomach. Although it may seem straightforward, this silent act of presence signals your body that it is safe to recover. The cloves themselves may not have as much of an impact over time as that small change in perspective. After it, do a quick movement routine. Go for a brisk walk, stretch lightly, or take a few deep breaths by the window in the morning. Your heart remains strong and your blood vessels remain responsive as a result. Choose whole grains, fresh vegetables, lean meats, and olive oil throughout the day. To allow your body to concentrate on repair rather than digestion, avoid eating large, greasy meals right before bed. Additionally, try to get 7 hours of sleep at night. The same processes that clove water naturally supports, rebuilding testosterone, detoxifying, and balancing hormones, occur at that time. After a week or two, many men begin to notice minor changes, such as deeper sleep, warmer hands and feet, and more consistent energy. But around week 4, the true change takes place. Your body starts to genuinely reawaken your strength, vitality, and confidence at that point. You begin to feel more like yourself than you did before, if not better. Underlying all of this, however, is something more significant than the ritual itself, because blood flow and cloves aren't the only things that give this practice its true power. It's in how your attitude changes once you resume your self-care routine. And the most crucial secret of all, that's precisely what we'll discuss next. Section 10, the true secret. Getting back in touch with your body. I've been assisting men in regaining their strength for over 30 years, and I've discovered that one thing is more important than any diet, supplement, or therapy. Everything starts to change the moment a man makes the decision to genuinely care for himself once more. Cloves by themselves don't restore confidence or vitality. It's the signal you give your body each time you take a tiny step, boil that cup at night, or make a decision to respect rather than disregard your health. Your body then begins to listen once more. The healing process starts at that point. I see a lot of men in their 60s who are dejected. They believe that their best years are over and that growing older means losing control. But after a few weeks of dedication, I've witnessed those same men return with hope in their voices, warmth in their hands, and light in their eyes. They reconnected with their body, not because of a miracle. They began working with it instead of fighting it. Your body remembers how to react when you take care of yourself, even in the smallest ways. It seems as though it has been anticipating your return. That is my favorite part of this ritual. Chasing youth is not the point. It's about finding your physical, emotional, and spiritual strength again. It's about understanding that your body is still alive, capable, and responsive. Clove water has benefits beyond increasing testosterone and blood flow when you take your first sip at night. I still care is what you need to tell yourself. I'm still important. Your body hears that, I promise. Cell by cell, it starts to mend, subtly restoring the power you believed had been permanently lost. Perfection is not the goal of this trip. You'll forget some nights. You will feel fatigued on some days. However, the effects will come if you continue to show up and send that message of care to your body. You will experience warmth where there was numbness, confidence where there was uncertainty, and vigor where there was exhaustion. Because your body is always capable of healing itself, all it needs is the correct setting and a reminder that you are still working on it. I want to leave you with one important reality as we proceed to the last section of this speech, the most significant finding I've ever made in my whole medical career. It has nothing to do with hormones, cloves, or even blood flow. No matter your age, it's about something far bigger that decides how powerful, lively, and vibrant you stay. And I will tell you precisely that next. Section 11. In conclusion. A fresh start at any age. After working as a doctor for so long, I've come to the conclusion that medicine is never the first step toward true recovery. It starts with faith. The conviction that your best days are still ahead of you, that your body can heal, and that your energy can return. Cloves, blood flow, and testosterone aren't the only things I've demonstrated to you on this voyage. Reviving that belief is the goal. We all grow when we share, so please share what you learned today and what change you're ready to make in the comments box below. Let's support each other. If you found this video useful, or if it even slightly opened your eyes, please click the like button. To be sure you don't miss any information that could change your health, click subscribe. Before you go, ring the bell. If this video was helpful, please enter 1. If not, enter 0. You might not be aware of the significance of your comment, because everything else falls into place once you begin to intentionally take care of your body. The power, the energy, the assurance. Simply put, clove water serves as a bridge and a tool to help you rediscover the man you were always destined to be. In addition to being stronger, you're regaining the quality of life you deserve when your circulation, nerves, and hormones all return to normal. Men in their 60s, 70s, and even 80s have returned to my clinic with a gleam in their eyes and laughter that hasn't been there in years. And I always remind them of the same thing. I did not bring about the change. They were the source, from their choice to reappear for themselves. Therefore, keep in mind that clove water is more than just a beverage when you make it tonight. It's a proclamation. It's your body's call to recover, to feel, to experience life to the fullest. You're not too old. You're not finished yet. Simply put, you're being offered another opportunity to flourish, naturally, strongly, and purposefully. Before you leave, let me know in the comments what you would like to regain in terms of your health this year: vitality, self-assurance, or tranquility. Another man might be motivated to start his own quest by your response, because it's not over yet. Something remarkable is just getting started.